There is a kind of pain that lingers long after the wound is inflicted, a silent agony that no one else sees. It festers beneath the surface, hidden behind forced smiles and polite nods. You carry it like a secret, buried deep in your chest. It's the pain of betrayal, not by strangers, but by those you trusted most, the ones who knew your heart and still chose to break it, the ones who knew your struggles and still added to your burden. Tell me, how does a soul recover from that kind of injury? You've asked yourself that question in the quiet of the night, as tears stained your pillow and the weight of injustice threatened to suffocate you. You wondered if there would ever be reckoning, if those who laughed at your pain, who took pleasure in your downfall, would ever face consequences, because while they moved on, you were left behind, broken, forgotten, and humiliated. But what if I told you that nothing they did went unseen? That every lie they told, every knife they plunged into your back, every moment they celebrated your misery, God saw it all. Not a single act of cruelty escaped his sight. Not a single word of mockery was lost in the wind. And though they seem to walk free, their freedom is an illusion. They are building their own ruin, step by step, unaware that the pit they dug for you is the very one in which they will drown. You see, justice does not always shout. Sometimes it waits, patient, silent, and sure. It waits for the moment when those who sowed chaos are consumed by the very storm they created. While they mock, while they scheme, while they pretend to be untouchable, justice walks quietly behind them, closer than their shadow, preparing the day of reckoning. Have you ever watched someone build a house on sand? Confident and proud, ignoring every warning, they celebrate their creation, showing it off to the world, convinced it will stand forever. But then the rains come, the winds howl, and the house crumbles, not because of anyone else's doing, but because of their own arrogance. That is the fate of those who betrayed you. Let them celebrate. Let them believe they've won, because the collapse is coming, and it will be of their own making. Let me ask you this. What good is revenge if it poisons your soul? What peace is there in carrying the weight of bitterness? You don't need to fight. You don't need to plot or scheme. God is not blind and he is not passive. He allows the wicked to rise just high enough to expose themselves before the fall. He lets them taste false success before it turns bitter in their mouths. Their downfall is inevitable because they chose to harm the innocent. And heaven does not ignore such choices. And you are still standing. Bruised, perhaps, scarred, yes, but you have not been destroyed. Your survival is a testimony to their failure. Your endurance is a weapon sharper than any sword. Do you not see? You are being lifted while they sink. You are being refined while they rot in the mess they created. Let them drown in it. Now is the time to shift your focus, not on them, but on your healing, your strength, your journey. Their downfall is coming, and it will not require your hands, only your patience. Let God work, and you will see how justice is not only served, it is glorious. God's eyes never miss injustice. Their every wrong is recorded. There is a deep ache in the human heart when it feels unseen. When you've cried in silence, screamed in your thoughts and begged for just one moment of justice, but received nothing in return, it begins to feel like no one is watching. No one cares. And the worst part? The people who hurt you, who caused you to suffer, continue living as if they've done nothing wrong. They smile, they succeed, they act like saints in public, while you wrestle with the wreckage they left behind. It's a cruel, suffocating feeling to believe they've escaped while you're still drowning. But what if I told you that you were never alone in your suffering? That in those moments when you felt abandoned, when your heart was shattered into pieces, there was one who saw it all. Every tear you shed in secret was noticed, every betrayal, every insult, every moment of emotional or physical pain. God witnessed it in real time. His eyes do not blink. His attention never strays. There is no act of cruelty hidden from him. Let that truth sink in for a moment. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. And those who wronged you, no matter how clever, no matter how well they covered their tracks, they were never out of sight. People may deceive each other, but no one can deceive God. He saw what they did behind closed doors. He heard their mocking words, felt the intent in their hearts, and understood the pleasure they took in your suffering. Their every wrong is written, not in sand, but in stone. Have you ever questioned why it seemed like they were getting away with it? Why the liars, the manipulators, the betrayers seemed to thrive while you were left broken and confused? It's because God, in His perfect justice, allows the wicked to rise for a time, not to reward them, but to expose them, to give them enough rope to hang themselves with. What they see as freedom is actually judgment in motion. While they dance in arrogance, their every move is being watched, measured, and recorded. You see, God does not operate on human timelines. His justice is not rushed because it is perfect. You wanted immediate justice, but God is preparing complete justice. A justice so undeniable, so precise, that even the guilty will be forced to confess. And while you wait, feeling the weight of the pain they caused, He is writing down every detail, not to forget, but to ensure that nothing they did escapes the punishment it deserves. And isn't that what your heart longs for? To know that your pain wasn't wasted, that your suffering wasn't in vain, that someone, somewhere, took notice of what was done to you and made a record of it, not just to remember but to respond. There is no corner dark enough to hide from God, no lie clever enough to escape His truth. The ones who hurt you will not walk away clean. They may pretend, they may deny, but the truth is they cannot escape the eyes of God, and every wrong they committed will be returned to them in full measure, not by your hands, but by His. Let this truth comfort you. You are seen, your pain is seen. Nothing is lost, nothing is overlooked. God's justice is real, and it is coming. The pit they dug for you will become their own trap. There is a bitter reality that many have lived. The pain of being set up to fail by someone you trusted. They didn't just hurt you. They intentionally created situations, spread lies and manipulated circumstances just to see you fall. And the worst part? They wore the mask of friendship, of love, of loyalty, all while digging a pit beneath your feet. They smiled to your face while plotting your downfall behind your back. And when you stumbled, when life turned dark, they watched with satisfaction, thinking their plan had worked. But what they forgot is that pits are dangerous, not just for the one they are intended for, but for the one who digs them. There is an ancient and unbreakable truth that echoes across time. He who digs a pit for others will fall into it himself. The universe does not favor deception. God does not turn a blind eye to traps set for the innocent. The very hole they created to bury you, whether with lies, betrayal, or calculated cruelty, will become their prison. Think back to the times when everything seemed to turn against you. The confusion, the isolation, the sense of being surrounded by enemies wearing the face of friends. They orchestrated your pain. It wasn't accidental. They wanted you to break. They wanted you to lose everything. And in those moments you might have believed they succeeded. But they didn't realize one thing. You were not alone in the pit. God was there with you, even when the walls closed in. Even when you couldn't see the way out, He saw the truth. And while they rejoiced over your pain, He was planning their fall. You see, evil is short-sighted. The ones who wronged you believed they were clever. They believed they could hurt you without consequence. But every time they dug deeper into deceit, they were digging their own destruction. Every lie added another foot to their grave. Every betrayal, another stone to the weight that will pull them under. And the day is coming, the day when they will stumble not by your hand, but by their own design. Isn't it strange how life has a way of turning the tables? How those who wished for your ruin slowly begin to unravel, trapped in the very schemes they created. It's not coincidence, it's not luck, it's justice. And it is written into the very fabric of existence that harm done to the innocent does not go unpunished, that those who sow pain will reap it in full. And when it happens, when they fall into the pit they thought was yours, they will cry for help, only to realize there is no escape from a trap set by their own hands. Their downfall won't need your interference. You won't need to raise a hand. The trap has already been laid, not by you, but by them, and it waits patiently. Just as they waited for your collapse, now the clock ticks for theirs, and with every step they take, thinking they've won, they are inching closer to the edge. One slip, one moment, and the pit will swallow them whole. And you will rise. You will walk past the very place where they hope to see you broken, stronger than before, untouched by the dirt they tried to bury you in. Because God is just, and He ensures that those who dig traps for the innocent are caught by their own cruelty. Let them walk freely for now. Let them boast and laugh. The pit is waiting, and it knows their name. False peace leads to sudden destruction. There is a peculiar calm that surrounds those who have done wrong and believe they've gotten away with it. A calm that looks like peace, feels like triumph, and smells like victory. You've seen it. The ones who betrayed you, who damaged your soul and tore apart your life, walk around without a care in the world. They post pictures smiling, they laugh loudly in crowds, and they sleep soundly at night, while you lie awake, haunted by the echoes of what they did. It seems unfair. You, the victim, are in pieces, and they are thriving in their false peace. But make no mistake, what they have is not peace. It is a dangerous calm before the storm. They have built their comfort on stolen trust, on pain they caused, on lies they told. It is not real. It cannot last, because peace that is birthed from sin, from betrayal, from injustice will always collapse. There is a spiritual law woven into the very design of life. You cannot escape the consequences of your actions. The person who plants thorns cannot expect roses. And yet, those who wronged you have convinced themselves otherwise. They believe that because they haven't yet faced consequences, they never will. But that is the greatest deception of all. False peace is the most dangerous kind. It lulls the guilty into a sleep from which they will awaken only when it's too late, when destruction is already at their door. Let me ask you, how long can someone live in peace while they carry the weight of wrongs unrepented for? How long can someone run from the truth before it catches up to them? The answer is not long, because peace without righteousness is hollow. It may glitter on the outside, but it is rotting on the inside. They wear smiles, but deep down they know what they've done. They silence their conscience, but it whispers in the darkness. And as time passes, that false peace begins to crack. The collapse is sudden. One day they are secure, powerful, admired. The next, the very things they trusted crumble. Relationships break, opportunities vanish, reputation shatters, and it comes without warning. Because when peace is built on injustice, destruction doesn't walk, it strikes. You may think they are untouched, but their world is fragile. You may feel left behind, but in truth you are the one who is rising. They live on borrowed time. Every moment of your suffering is being weighed, and every second of their false peace is being counted down. There is a storm coming for them, not because of your anger, not because of your revenge, but because justice cannot be ignored, and when it hits, it will not be partial, it will not spare. The very foundation of their false peace will be ripped away, exposing the emptiness they tried to hide. The destruction will not be slow, it will be sudden, fierce, and complete. And in that moment, they will remember. They will remember your face, your tears, your kindness. The very things they took for granted and discarded. And they will know that what they thought was peace was only a pause before judgment. Their downfall will be a lesson, not just to them, but to everyone who ever thought injustice could last. False peace is a lie, and lies cannot withstand the truth. The peace they thought was theirs will betray them, just as they betrayed you, and when it does, they will finally understand the cost of what they did. Their actions set the stage for their own collapse. There is a certain arrogance in those who believe they can harm others and never face the consequences, a dangerous confidence. They think they are untouchable, that their words, their actions, their betrayal will vanish into the past, leaving no trace, no scar, no retribution. But what they fail to understand is that every action they take is a seed, and seeds always grow. What they sowed into your life, pain, lies, destruction, they did not just sow into you, they sowed into their own future. And those seeds are not dead, they are growing silently, invisibly, preparing for the day when they will reap the very chaos they created. You didn't ask for this pain, you didn't provoke it, you were simply there, loving, trusting, giving, and they used that against you. They saw your kindness as weakness. They mistook your silence for defeat. And while you tried to hold everything together, to protect the relationship, to save the bond, they kept pushing, breaking, manipulating, thinking there would be no end to what they could get away with. But life does not allow evil to go unchecked forever. There is a limit, and they are closer to it than they know. Every step they took to destroy you was a step toward their own destruction. It's ironic, isn't it, that while they thought they were setting the stage for your downfall, they were actually building the very trap that will ensnare them. With every lie, they added another brick to their downfall. With every betrayal, they tightened the noose. They believed they were in control, but they were playing with forces beyond their comprehension. God is not mocked. Justice is not blind, and truth, no matter how long it's buried, will rise. The universe is designed to respond to the intentions of the heart. What you give, you receive. What you inflict, you inherit. They thought their cleverness would shield them from this law, but no one is clever enough to outrun justice, not even the ones who walk with pride and hide behind false innocence. Let me take you back to the moments when they laughed at your pain, when they dismissed your worth, when they turned others against you and took joy in your struggle. Those moments were not lost in time. They were recorded, and each one of them added weight to the scale of their fate. They didn't just hurt you, they activated forces that are now turning against them. The betrayal was not just between you and them. It was a violation of the sacred trust of humanity, and it carries consequences far heavier than they can bear. Do you know what true power looks like? It's not in revenge. It's in knowing that justice will come without your hand needing to move. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to chase them down, because they are already falling, whether they know it or not. Their own actions lit the fuse. Their cruelty, their lies, their schemes, it's all coming back. And it will be swift, undeniable, and beyond their ability to stop. Imagine a tree that grows tall, but its roots are diseased. On the surface it looks strong, It bears fruit, it casts shade, but beneath the soil rot is eating it from the inside out. And one day, without warning, it collapses under its own weight. That is what's happening to them. Outwardly they seem unbothered, successful even, but inside the very foundation of their life is weakening, and when the fall comes, it will be from the weight of what they themselves have built. The collapse isn't coming because of you, it's coming because of them. You were simply the target they chose. The pain they caused you, the lies, the betrayal, it has all been measured and multiplied, and it's returning to them like a flood. They set the stage, now they must face the play they wrote, and when it happens, they will remember. They will remember the choices they made, the people they hurt, the bridges they burned, and they will realize that their greatest enemy was never you, it was themselves. They crafted their own ruin with hands full of pride, arrogance, and cruelty. And now, what they built will break them. Let them have their moment. Let them believe they've won, because the stage is set, not for your defeat, but for their downfall. Divine justice delays but never fails. There are moments in life when silence feels like abandonment. When you suffer in silence, waiting, day after day, month after month, for something to change, for justice to arrive, but it doesn't. Instead, the ones who caused your pain seem to flourish. They walk freely, live joyfully and prosper, while you carry the weight of the wounds they inflicted. It feels unbearable, unfair, almost cruel. You begin to wonder if justice even exists. You cry out to God and ask, why are they getting away with it? Why am I still broken while they thrive? And in the stillness, when no answer comes, doubt creeps in. But let me tell you something that time and suffering will one day reveal to you. Divine justice delays, but it never fails. You see, we live in a world where people expect immediate results, instant reactions, quick retribution. But God is not bound by time. His justice isn't rushed, because it is perfectly calculated. The delay is not a denial, it is preparation. Preparation for a justice so complete, so undeniable, that it will not only restore you, but reveal the truth to all. And the longer it takes, the more powerful and public that justice becomes. You are being watched over by a power that sees beyond what you see. You want relief now, but God is working something greater. He's writing a story where your vindication will shine brighter because it was delayed, where the ones who harmed you will face not a whisper of correction, but the full force of consequence. Their downfall isn't forgotten. It's merely waiting for the perfect time. Have you ever seen a storm gather? It doesn't always come suddenly. Sometimes the sky is calm, deceptively peaceful, but quietly the winds shift, the clouds build, the atmosphere changes. The delay in the storm's arrival doesn't mean it isn't coming. It means it's gaining power, and when it finally breaks, it is unstoppable. That is what divine justice is like. The longer it waits, the more unstoppable it becomes. Let's speak of the ones who hurt you, the ones who thought they had escaped. They see the silence as a victory. They believe they're safe. They convince themselves that time has erased their wrongdoing, that God has forgotten, or worse, that He didn't care. But oh, how mistaken they are. Because the longer they live in comfort, the harder their fall will be, and the more they mock your pain, the louder their cries will be when justice strikes. It's written in the very nature of life. You reap what you sow. And though reaping does not happen immediately after sowing, it always comes, always. The seeds of betrayal, lies, manipulation, they are growing even now. And just because you don't see the harvest yet doesn't mean it isn't forming beneath the surface. Divine justice is not hurried, it is thorough. Think of the fire that purifies gold. The heat is intense, the process slow, But when it's over, the gold is pure, untouchable, valuable. You, in your suffering, are being refined, and they, in their deception, are being weighed. Their actions are being counted. Not one is missed. And when the scale tips, God's justice will move, and it will not fail. The delay is not a sign that you've been forgotten. It is proof that you are being prepared for something greater, and they are being prepared for a judgment they cannot escape. Let them believe they've won. Let them laugh. Their laughter is brief. Their comfort is temporary, because divine justice, though silent now, is coming for them with a weight they cannot bear, and when it comes, you will not have to lift a finger. The justice you prayed for, cried for, begged for, it will arrive. It will arrive in a way that is undeniable, visible, complete. God is not a man that he should lie. What he promised he will fulfill. Their actions guaranteed their downfall, and divine justice guarantees it will not be delayed forever. The delay is not denial, it is precision. And when the time is right, justice will not only find them, it will consume them. Your survival is proof of their failure. There is something powerful, almost divine, about surviving what was meant to destroy you. The people who hurt you didn't just make a mistake. They didn't accidentally wound you. They made a choice, a deliberate, conscious choice to bring you down, to break your spirit, to strip you of your peace, your joy, your dignity. Their goal was not just to cause pain. It was to see you shattered beyond repair, crawling through life with nothing but the weight of their betrayal on your back. But here you are, breathing, standing, living. And your survival is their greatest failure. You see, they thought they had power over your destiny. They believed their actions would define your future. They tried to write your ending with lies, manipulation, and cruelty. And when they walked away, thinking they'd won, they expected you to crumble, to fall so far you'd never get up again. But every morning you rise, every step you take, you prove them wrong, and they know it. Whether they admit it or not, they know that their plan didn't work, and that realization is eating away at them from the inside. Let me ask you, do you realize how strong you are? How much strength it takes to endure betrayal, to carry pain that others can't see, to battle demons in silence and still show up to life. You survived the storm they created. And not only did you survive, but you are becoming someone they can no longer control, no longer manipulate, no longer break. That terrifies them. Because your existence, your growth, your resilience, it reflects their failure. Think about it. They tried to ruin your reputation, but people still see your worth. They tried to isolate you, but somehow you still found support. They tried to silence you, but your voice is still heard. They failed. And no matter what they do now, they can't undo the fact that you refuse to be destroyed. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence of your triumph. It may not feel like victory yet. You may still carry the weight of what happened, the memories, the nightmares, the emotional exhaustion. But the very fact that you're still moving forward, still breathing, still fighting, means they did not win, and deep down they know it. They watch from a distance, expecting to see you collapse. Instead, they see you rise, maybe slowly, maybe with struggle, but you rise nonetheless. Their failure wasn't just that they couldn't break you. Their failure is also that they revealed who they truly are. In trying to destroy you, they exposed themselves, the lies, the deception, the darkness in their hearts. All of it became visible in their action. And while they tried to paint you as the problem, time and truth have a way of shining light in dark places. People begin to see. The masks begin to slip. And the more they try to hide, the more their true nature is revealed. Let them talk, let them pretend, Let them deny everything. It doesn't matter, because the greatest proof of who won isn't in words, it's in survival. You are still here, you are still standing, and every day you keep going. You declare their defeat without saying a word. Their efforts were not enough, their betrayal wasn't strong enough, their plans fell apart. You survived, and survival is victory. There is a sacred strength in those who endure pain and still choose to live, to love, to hope. That strength is in you, and no one can take that away. Their actions may have wounded you, but they didn't define you. Their betrayal may have hurt you, but it didn't end you. And as you continue to rebuild piece by piece, step by step, they are left to face a truth they cannot escape. They tried everything, and it wasn't enough. Your survival haunts them. It reminds them of what they couldn't accomplish. It reminds them that you were stronger than they expected, braver than they believed, and more resilient than they could ever imagine. They wanted you broken, but you became unbreakable. They wanted you gone, but you're still here. Your survival is not just survival, it is evidence. Evidence of your strength, evidence of their failure, and evidence that God's hand was on you the entire time. Letting go allows God to deliver ultimate justice. There comes a time when holding on becomes heavier than the pain itself. You carry the betrayal, the heartbreak, the injustice like chains wrapped around your soul. You replay every word they said, every moment they deceived you, every time they made you feel worthless, and it eats away at your peace. It consumes your energy. It drains your spirit, and all the while they live their lives, untouched and unbothered. But the truth is, the longer you cling to the pain they caused, the more power you give them. And the longer you chase justice with your own hands, the more you block the one who can truly deliver it. God. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means releasing your grip on the situation and placing it into divine hands, trusting that God sees deeper, judges better, and acts with perfect timing. You've tried to understand why it happened, why they changed, why they did what they did. You've wrestled with your emotions, battled your anger, and sometimes even blamed yourself. But none of that will heal you. True healing begins when you decide with trembling strength to stop carrying the burden they created and let God handle it fully. Do you really think they've escaped? That they're beyond accountability? No one escapes God's justice. Letting go is not about letting them off the hook. It's about taking them off your hook and placing them on God's. You don't need to fight them, expose them, or make them pay, because the more you fixate on their punishment, the more they stay connected to your spirit. And they don't deserve that power anymore. They've taken enough from you already. Think of how much life you've missed, how much peace you've lost, how many nights you've stayed awake wondering if they'll ever regret what they did. Every time you rehearse the pain, you give them a seat in your mind, a place in your heart. But letting go evicts them. It says, you no longer own space in my soul. I release this, not because you deserve mercy, but because I deserve peace. And here's the most powerful truth. When you let go, you invite God to move. When you stop trying to orchestrate the outcome, you allow divine justice to unfold in ways that are far more precise and impactful than anything you could ever imagine. God doesn't just settle scores, He reveals truth, restores what was lost, and repays in full. But He won't move while you're still holding on. He waits for your release before He acts in full power. Let me ask you, how long will you carry their actions? How long will you let them steal your joy, your purpose, your future? Isn't it time to put it down? Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Letting go is not weakness, it's the greatest act of faith, the loudest declaration that you trust God more than you trust your own hands. When you release the hurt, you're not just walking away from the past, You're stepping into freedom, and in that freedom, justice will come, not as vengeance, but as divine retribution. The people who wronged you, who mocked your pain, who thought they could walk away untouched, they will see the consequences. God will ensure it. And when it happens, you'll witness it not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of strength, healed and whole. Letting go clears the path. It allows space for healing, restoration, and divine intervention. It tells heaven, I trust you. I'm done carrying what was never mine to carry. And when heaven moves, the justice that comes is undeniable. You will rise and they will fall. Not because you forced it, but because God promised that no wrong goes unanswered. Your role is to release. His role is to repay. And when you let go, you don't just find peace, you find power. Real, lasting, divine power. Let them go and watch what God does in their lives and in yours. Justice is coming, and you will rise. You have walked through the fire. You have endured betrayal, pain, and heartbreak that few can understand. You've carried the weight of injustice in silence. Watched those who wronged you walk free and wondered if your pain would ever be seen, if your cries would ever be heard, if justice would ever come. And now, hear this, it is coming. Not in your timing, not in your way, but in God's perfect, unstoppable way. The people who hurt you, who mocked your tears, who tried to break your soul, they have written their own fate. They will pay for what they did, not by your hand, but by the hand of justice that never sleeps, the eye that never blinks, the power that never forgets. Your survival is proof that they failed. Your resilience is the loudest declaration that you were stronger than they ever believed. You are not defeated. You are not destroyed. You are rising, and they are falling into the very mess they created. Now is the time to let go. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you deserve peace. Let them drown in their own actions. Let them face the consequences they set in motion. And as they fall, you will rise. Not in bitterness, but in strength, freedom, and healing. God saw everything, and He has not forgotten. Justice may have delayed, but it will not fail. It is coming, and when it arrives, it will lift you higher and bring them low, exactly as it should be. This is your time. Let go, rise, and watch what God will do.